Hello, lovely viewers. You're welcome once again to another episode on King's Beach TV. With you today is Erekwa Ofosihima, your lovely host. And as usual, when we get to health topics, we have one interesting lady we always invite over to do our discussions with. She's no other person than Miss Nadia Nancy Beecham. She's going to be our guest for today. Today, our topic is very diverse. We want to know the importance and disadvantages of it. Mostly when a baby is born, we believe that he or she has to be immunized so that other diseases or other sicknesses might not set in to disturb that baby. Is it important? Is it necessary? Why do we have to immunize our babies? Or as human beings, why do we need immunization? That is why our sister is here. So we'll be inviting her over to help us with our discussion on immunization. Miss Nadia, you are welcome to official King's Beach TV.
Thank you very much.
Immunization. Immunization. Why do we have to immunize our babies? Is this so important? What is it? What does it entail?
So, when we talk about immunization is a process whereby a person becomes protected against a disease through vaccination. That is immunization.
So, whereby a person is protected through
Vaccination.
vaccination, that is immunization. So, that means we are not just going to talk about immunization, we're talking about vaccination too as well.
Yes.
Okay. So, what is vaccination?
So, it is a simple, safe, and effective way of protecting yourself against harmful diseases before you get the disease.
Okay. So without vaccination, we are bound to get diseases.
Yes.
And then if we are not immunized, definitely our body is weak. We'll definitely get the disease.
So, when we talk about vaccination, usually with vaccination, we are introducing a less harmful pathogen or a less harmful type of the disease into your body. We've weakened that disease. So, when it gets into the body fights against it and overcomes it. That is vaccination.
So let me get it very well. During vaccination, you are giving the baby the disease, but not effective.
Yes.
So that if that particular disease shows up in that baby, the baby already has the disease, so the baby has adapted to it already, so can fight against it.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
When our bodies fight against a certain disease pathogen, it knows how to fight against it. So anytime it sees it again, it knows what to do about it. It's like when you get into a fight with someone, you learn the person's fighting moves. You know that this person fights in this style. So when you run away and you come back another time, you know how to defend yourself against that person because you fought with the person before. So it's the same thing our body does. Our body adapts to it and then knows how to fight it. So whenever it sees it again, it's able to fight against that disease.
Okay, so then the long and short of all this is that we are just inviting other bodies into our system so that when new bodies are coming, the older bodies will be able to fight against the newer ones.
Yes,
Is
so
that what you're
our
saying?
body creates antibodies against
Okay,
it.
and then you know, and one our can immunization. Then immunization, and say, yeah, pe kwan ya befa so ebe boy ho ban efa eduro no mu. Se na ebe ya yare ma ana na kwan ya befa so ebe bo na ne sa vaccination no kan ya. And when we say ya pen for no mo wo a, ya obi be a friend postnatal care. Wo wo akwala ni wi a, wa quantinator na wa go na wie no. Na afi wa ba postnatal. Eno na abekwa ebeka se ye be wo ne panie yɛbɛwɔ ne wei yɛbɛwɔ ne wei na yɛhwɛ apaneɛ no nso yɛde wɔ nkɔlaa na dɔɔso ebia wɔ mmere a yɛde wɔ mo ne nyinaa yɛbɛka ho asɛm wɔ ha. So let's look at the importance. What is the importance of immunization or vaccination? What is their importance?
Well, before we started to immunize, we know that some years back we used to have um, epidemics, pandemics, all those things. But when we started with the immunizations, we realized that those disease pathogens, the frequency of them has reduced. So there are lots of diseases that we've not seen in a long while.
in
It's
recent
all
times.
because of the vaccinations that we have. So if those vaccines weren't available, we wouldn't have been able to fight against those disease conditions. So it is very important to vaccinate because it protects us from the diseases. And you know, when you get a disease or you get ill, you can die from it. But when you are vaccinated, you before because your body can fight against it, it reduces our mortality rates, and also it reduces our morbidity rate because sometimes we even get sick without knowing, but our body fights against it.
Okay.
So we don't even realize that we were sick. But if we weren't vaccinated, we'll fall sick, we'll have to go to the hospital and all that. So it reduces our morbidity rate as well. And also it saves our money. And
Mm.
then, like right now, Ghana, things are very hard. Though. You go
Hey,
to
I
the
don't know what
hospital,
cake on
yes.
my new wash. Now they call hospital because say who better card look how better look boy be amount. You know, now things are very hard, so we use that is a way of saving
Yes,
money.
so you
Yeah,
save.
so we're able to save revenue. Yeah,
So
we
it's
are,
all part of the
yeah.
importance of
Okay,
vaccination.
okay. So then, in actual sense, that means there are some diseases that no matter what, but this vaccination prevents us from the diseases. There are
Yes,
diseases that they are bound to come to us, but
yes,
these vaccinations help us away or take us away from these diseases so that
yes.
we don't get them. Okay, then let me see. What are some of the diseases that we immunize ourselves against?
So right now in Ghana, we immunize ourselves against tuberculosis, diphtheria, tetanus, pertussis, hepatitis B, Haemophilus influenza, yellow fever, measles rubella, meningitis, diarrhea, and some others.
So all these injections, the babies will take them.
Yes, so there's a schedule that we use so that you don't take all of them at the same time.
Okay.
Okay.
So what is the duration of these immunization drugs or immunization vaccines?
So the duration as in when you take them or how long they protect you.
So if I immunize myself just one per it is 1 month. I have to do it again.
So with the immunization schedule, when the baby is born, we give the polio vaccine, that is oral, and then we give the BCG vaccine, that is an injection. So the polio will protect the child against polio, and then the BCG will protect the child against tuberculosis. And then when the child is 6 weeks old, then we give the pentavalent vaccine, that is a 5-in-1 vaccine. And then we give the pneumococcal conjugate vaccine, and then we give the rota vaccine, and then the polio vaccine as well.
Hey, terms na bebe ba uti bi
So
mi dem anti o. Edi no bobo na ehu keke. The pentavalent vaccine. She's saying the English, so me I'll say the chi, so that all of us will understand. Abi we or we dey. So pentavalent vaccine. Me no nyina ye ni penta. Penta e 1 2 3 4 5. E just say bomu 5. Edro ba ko le shemu 5. E na ye de wa akola no. Let's continue.
So, with the rota vaccine,
Okay.
it's oral, and that protects the child from diarrhea. And then we have the polio vaccine as well, that will protect the child against polio. And then we have the pneumococcal conjugate vaccine, which is an injection that will protect the child from pneumonia.
Okay.
And then we have the pentavalent, that is a 5-in-1.
Okay.
So that protects against diphtheria, pertussis, tetanus, Haemophilus influenza, and then the hepatitis B.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. So at a tender age, your baby is secured from all these ailments.
Yes.
And if I get it correctly, you said something like BCG.
Yes.
Say BCG na yeah wahano.
Yes.
Aha. And what we say, we show bia sani faswa. We say idea bia form wo ho. That's what they for me and like say we yan wo bi. I think it's not everybody that gets that form in there, or everybody is supposed to get.
Well, with that injection, we give it right under the skin. So you are supposed to get the mark
Okay.
to show that you had the injection.
Okay.
But sometimes when we give it, not everyone is able to form the mark.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay, but that doesn't mean that the person hasn't taken it. It is
No.
a must. Everybody takes it.
Yes, we
Oh,
give
okay.
it at birth, so
Okay,
everybody takes it.
okay, okay. So then, if I am understanding what our sister is saying very well, that means that the ways that or the importance to which we administer these drugs is just to save money, to be able to reduce our mortality rate or mobility rate, and then also to prevent death from some diseases that are preventable. And she's giving us a lot of these vaccines. She's mentioned a lot. Manticramity bear 9 and not 10. Born I mean to me. Please don't ask me to mention their names because I can't mention it. So manticramity bear 9 or 10. I know you also heard some of them. And these vaccines are very important. Very, very important. I think I watched a movie. Now Akolani vaccinating in the womb. It was very difficult for them to administer medicine for the drug at the hospital because you've not been vaccinated before. How are we supposed to treat it? So it made me realize that vaccines are very important in the lives of our babies, even though it makes them uncomfortable. So they be but they have to go through it. So please, when it's time for your babies to get these vaccines, please don't hide them inside. Just avail them so that they are able to get these vaccines. Okay, let me ask, what if someone decides not to vaccinate his or her child? What happens?
Well, you see, the vaccines are there to protect us from those diseases. So when you don't vaccinate, you are not being protected against them. Do you get it? So you can get the disease. And then when you get the disease, then you have to go to the hospital, you have to find ways of treating it. All these things are stressful to the child and to the mother.
Oh,
But
okay.
when you are vaccinated, at least your body knows how to fight against it. So even if you get the disease, you not get it to be that serious.
Okay.
But when you are not vaccinated against it, your body is not used to it. Your immune system is weak. So fighting against it even becomes a problem.
Okay.
And then we all don't want to give birth and then at the end of the day lose our baby.
Okay.
So you want to protect your child as much as you can. So it's very important to vaccinate them.
Okay, it's very important to vaccinate them. As I always say, if you like this video, don't forget to like and share. Share to your friends, share to your family. Let all of them come on board. And if you like me sitting here, I didn't come and sit here on my own. Definitely, I have a sponsor, and my sponsor is King Speech Services. They are into air conditioning, after sales maintenance, repairs, installation, many others. They do a whole lot of things. Anything about AC, call His Beach Services and they'll be right at your doorstep to help you out with this. We are continuing with our discussion. For some
Okay.
time now, and I've not been hearing of tuberculosis, I've not been hearing of polio, but because I realized some time back it was very rampant in the country. Are you saying that this is as a result of these immunizations? That's why we are not facing those challenges anymore. And is it that they have become extinct in our environment or they are still there, but the vaccines are not letting them come out?
So right now, there are lots of diseases that are being prevented by these vaccines. That's why we don't see them as much as we used to. But then for us to say that they are eradicated, we need a World Health Organization. They study the country for a duration. If there's no case presented, then they certify the country to be free of that particular disease.
Okay.
Okay.
So we are talking about immunization, but I want to chip this thing in. Is it guinea worm or do we have something like guinea worm, right?
Yes.
Is it still in existence? Do you have any vaccine to take care of something like that?
So guinea worm, we've not seen guinea worm in a while,
Okay.
but then there are medications that we give
Okay.
periodically to treat them.
Okay. 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 So that was just by the way. It just popped up and I decided to talk about it. So as we are saying, my lovely viewers, vaccination is something that is very key in the life of everybody. Honestly, women, we go through a lot. Look at right of the inception stage. You go to your first trimester, second trimester, third trimester. Look at the stress you go through. You perceive a smell and you are throwing up. you eat something, you are throwing up. The mere fact of even looking at someone's face even pisses you off. Then you go through all this stress, 9 months, some even go to the extent of 10 months and 11 months, even others 12 months, even before they conceive. Then you go through all this stress. What's a mawo? Men ko fe drobi and want a pan. Then what are you doing? Do you want your baby or you want to lose your baby? Look at the stress you go through. So to me, I think that when you go through the stress and give birth, just try as much as possible to vaccinate your child. Miss Nadia, final words to your lovely viewers. What are you going to tell those out there who are watching us about immunization? Should they immunize their children? Should they not? Should it be something that should touch them? Because me, I'm passionate about it. I'm very passionate about immunization. What do you have for your lovely viewers out there?
Okay, so what I have to say is that so far as the diseases can be prevented, we should try as much as possible to vaccinate our children. And then the schedule is at birth 6 weeks, 10 weeks, 14 weeks, 6 months, 9 months, 1.5 year. We should just follow the schedule, visit the community health nurses in your locality. They'll vaccinate your child for you and then prevent your child from going through all these diseases when you know that it can be prevented. You know, like don't stress your child out like that. So try as much as possible to go to them so that your baby can be vaccinated, and then you and your baby you'll be safe and healthy. That's what I have to say.
Just follow the schedule. If you know that this is what is going to help your baby prevent diseases. That is the final words our lovely sister is giving to us today. Just follow the schedule. She gave the time range. She gave us birth, 6 weeks, 10 weeks, 14 weeks, 9 months, six
One and
months,
a half.
9 months, 1.5 years. Just follow the schedule. It's very simple like that. If you follow it, I, you, and someone else's baby can be saved. Then we have a better place to live. As usual, if you like what you're watching, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And hit the notification bell. Now, when you hit the notification bell, anytime me, your lovely host, Ireko Ofosihima, comes on live, you will be able to see it first. Thank you very much for being here.